Welcome to the class where we're going to go over how in the world to embody your truth no matter what in all areas of your life. My goal in this training is to show you exactly how to use the Healing Feminine Voice approach. It's the method that I created to confidently express people to express their truth. And this training is for change makers in midlife who want to embody their truth in every area of life, personal, professional, both. And what I'm going to say is I may challenge you a little bit, but we're going to lean into this together gently, and it's going to be really, really fun. I'm glad you're here because I'm assuming you want to show up for yourself as well as show up for others, and that you also want to silence your inner critic without feeling like you'll die if you do. And also, you're wanting to stand in your truth, especially when that inner critic gets triggered. And if you are not really ready to show up for yourself, you're still stuck in the victim mode and unwilling to exert your good, express your good, invest in your good, whether that's with your time, with your money, with your energy, then your energy honestly will be spent better elsewhere. But if this does speak for you and you are an action taker, I have a wonderful bonus for you. And that is how to overcome the fear of visibility. It is a 90-minute live action session where if you care about authentically expressing yourself, but you've been stuck, you're going to love this, because this is my secret sauce approach that I used actually when I went in wartime to a neonatal intensive care unit in a 50-50 Israeli-Palestinian neonatal intensive care unit. Yes, in wartime. Talk about difficult conversations. This is exactly how I approached, organized, prepare everything for those difficult conversations, and with my family and loved ones and in work. And you are going to receive templates, live action sheets. So like in the moment, you can show up for a difficult conversation and break through the stymies and the blocks that have kept you back. This is live, so you're going to bring your situation, whatever is most pressing for you in your personal life and your professional life. And if you don't feel quite comfortable showing up live, you can propose beforehand, before the session, and we'll address it in the meeting. It really is so helpful to learn how to stop shrinking when it comes to difficult conversations, to stating your true needs and your desires. Really, really valuable. So who here has heard of Prophetess Miriam, like Moses' sister who led the Israelites dancing and singing across the parted seas? Well, guess what? At the end, if you stay to the end, you're also going to get another bonus. And that is a healing music meditation that was recorded in that ancient land. And it's to help you to quiet anxiety and embody your truth. I'm also a member of that same Levite tribe, and it makes my heart so happy to think of voice and rhythm parting the seas. And this bonus gift will help you part your seas. And I want to know, how much is that important to you, parting your own seas? Well, listen, I'm kind of obsessed with healing feminine voice and rhythm. And let's say Prophetess Miriam right here, in all her parting the seas power, says to you, what she is, honey, I want to give you a $10,000 into your bank account. All right. Any bank account in the world, doesn't have to be in the US, could be all around the globe, and no tax deductions will be taken out. But you have to compete with someone else. All right. That's what we're going to do here. $10,000 to the first woman. And if they're men here, it can be a man too. It's not, everyone is welcome. But the first person to create 3 original healing chants from scratch, and you teach them to 2 groups of 10 plus people, 2 different groups, recorded or live, will win. All right. So that's the contest we're having. Now you have 2 choices about how to approach this contest. You can choose number 1, to approach like Ophelia, and I like to call her Ophelia, the overthinker. Ophelia, here's how she approaches this contest. She doesn't feel safe being visible, but she wants to win. So she manages to create a chant, and she gets excited, and she starts on the second one, and then she starts wondering, is what she's putting out there, will it be received well enough? Are they going to make fun of me, criticize, judge my way? And then she continues though, and she starts her creative session, but at the same time she tells herself, oh God, I don't know, I need to know more before I move ahead. Get the picture? And it's a whole emotionally draining mess. All right, Ophelia, she's like drowning in trying to figure it all out and overthinking. All right, that's one way to approach this contest. The other way is like Emma. Emma approaches this challenge totally different. Here's what she does. First of all, she doesn't try to figure anything out, and she doesn't overthink it. First, she connects to her inner calm and her center, and then she identifies and listens for those harmful patterns that would sabotage her winning the contest. And then, using a feminine energy alignment process, she calms her inner critic and she connects to her creative voice. And through that place, she still doesn't start. She creates a really simple plan for herself for attracting the 20 people. And then that's out of the way, and she's calm. And then she has major fun creating those 3 chants. She schedules the 2 workshops. She invites friends to her home. A friend offers to help her record. And that's how Emma approaches this contest. That's how she approaches her personal and her professional life. All right. So here's the thing. You get the option of choosing your attitude in life. You're going to choose every day. When you wake up, am I going to be an Ophelia, or am I going to be an Emma? Am I going to overthink this and try and figure it out? Or am I going to connect and embody with my truth and express it in the world? It's really easy to be an overthinker, to be Ophelia, which, she thinks that clarity comes faster when you figure it out. Confidence comes faster when you think. But it does the exact opposite. But choosing the Emma route, which is slower, and maybe it's more uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar at first, but that's really the route to satisfaction. And then that satisfaction leads to success. And I want to know, which are you going to choose? And if we haven't met yet, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Eliana, and I am here. My role is to help all of the Ophelias in the world become Emmas, so that they can stop being stopped by overthinking and the inner critic, and actually express themselves, embody their truths, live their lives. So, speaking of living life and embodying truth, I was so tired of hearing women say how afraid they are of being judged and criticized for expressing their true voices. So they end up saying what the other people want to hear, not necessarily what they want to be saying, or being afraid of being more visible, lest they be attacked or be criticized for being real. And I myself, I was so tired of turning myself into a pretzel to get my ideas across, to get my needs met. And I'd feel so exhausted after I do it that I wouldn't have energy. So I wanted something that would center me when I'd go off center, and something that was quick, that still allowed me to express my truth and to take steps forward. And that's why I created the Healing Feminine Voice approach. And voila, happy birthday to the Healing Feminine Voice approach, which was born. And you might ask, what is it? Well, it's the solution that I created when I embodied my truth, even as my inner critic would try and knock me off center. How do you approach a process that's 5,000 years old, that was never written down, and that you've tested and tested, which I would do for years and years in any play. Anybody who ever, said yes, who was interested, there I would go. But how can you bring something forward without having the plan or the good housekeeping seal of approval? And that's why I proposed the research project in the neonatal intensive care unit. And the thing is, the daring to stand in my truth, daring to meet that inner critic, and using this approach, it worked. They agreed. And that approach led to the research, and that research led to the whole Voices of Eden method, which is based upon that research. That I went back and built and looked at, what did I do consistently over 3 years to receive those results. So the inner critic, when it comes up, it kills you, but when you stand in your truth, even when it doesn't make sense, at least for me, that was my experience. It allowed me to ditch the Ophelia approach for good, so that I could stay in connection with the truth of who I am, even as the inner critic would come up. So which do you want? I mean, for me, it allowed me to ditch the Ophelia for good, right? Because I was such an overthinker and trying to figure everything out. And I don't know if anyone here could relate more to Miss Overthinker Ophelia than me. And all I wanted to do was express my truth and make a difference in the world before I die. That's all I wanted. So I ditched the Ophelia approach. I figured, if I get to the end of my life, it was like this: Ophelia and Emma for me. And if I get to the end of my life and I'm still trying to figure out why I'm here and what I'm doing and what am I going to express and how am I going to do it, and I never jump off and I never know, that terrified me more than the terror of embodying the truth, even when it didn't make sense. And it's this Healing Feminine Voice approach that allowed me to do it. I'm so glad. And I'm curious, who's willing to ditch the Ophelia approach? Who's ready to do that? Like, raise your hand, put it in the comment box. I'm ready. Yes, yay, I'm glad. See, you're ready. And we're about to break this all down, this feminine voice approach, how you can avoid that dilemma of the inner critic from here on out. Okay, you ready? We're going there. So there are 3 mistakes that I want to cover with you. And the first one is the mistake that we make thinking that perfectionism works when it couldn't be further than the truth. Your perfectionism is actually stopping you from embodying your truth. So mistake number one, it's like striving to achieve perfection, but then you feel, oh my God, but you'll lose esteem. And you strive and you strive and you strive, but you never make it. Anyone relate? So here's what it looks like. So perfectionism is, it's like a perfect cover-up, right? We go, well, I should be able to do anything, accomplish anything without any flaws. That's the road. And what it actually is it's covering up. It's avoiding our responsibility for our actions. That's procrastination in one word, right? And that procrastination keeps us from connecting with people. It blocks us from receiving feedback that could help us move forward. And feedback, it's essential for our growth. And it really comes from this foundation that we don't have clearly defined private standards. You know, it's like so far down there because we're in such reaction that we're not in touch with that. And if you keep procrastinating you keep procrastinating taking those risks, you're never going to move ahead, because expressing yourself, it's actually the path to exception, to accept. Is it exception? That is so funny. There, I just took a risk because, like, was that perfect? No. Who cares, right? I'm being real. So, we were raised that we shouldn't do anything without flaws, right? Oh my God. But if you're going to be perfect, like, you can't move ahead. You just can't. So let's shift the way that we do this. All right. Now, I'm sure a lot of you listen to podcasts or read blogs, YouTube videos, whatever you like to. And how do I silence my inner critic? How to calm that? Raise your hand. I mean, I know I have done that, and I love watching YouTube. I love watching YouTube videos. And the thing is, when you listen to other people, you have all these ideas too, because there are lots of teachers online, especially in the personal growth world. They're going to tell you, right, think positive, focus on positive. And if you're feeling uncomfortable, then that's a sign that you're not thinking positively enough, and you're creating negativity in your head. You're making it worse when it's actually the opposite. It's like every idea that you get listening to a piece of content, it's triggering something in your mind. And then your mind starts thinking, get it? It starts that cog wheel, and then you go, oh my God, I'm not perfect. It reinforces that perfectionism. And then that is what leaves you to feel ashamed. And that's what causes us to then isolate ourselves. And then that's what causes us to feel alone. The shift actually comes not from being perfect, by embracing our imperfectness, our imperfection. And, when we dare to risk discomfort, we grow, because that, like, how do you feel? Like, were you pushed away? That with 2 seconds ago, whenever I made a mistake, I could, exception, acceptance. That's what it was. All right. Or if you're going to be pushed away, great. Then That's fine. Or did you go, oh, I'm not the only one who makes mistakes, right? When we refuse to make mistakes, we stay alone, we stay isolated. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to express your true voice. It's beautiful. And here's mistake number 2. It kind of builds on mistake number 1. It's trying to find those right words. All right. I just tried to find the right words. Was I afraid I'd be misunderstood and judged? No. You're going to judge anyway. We all judge. That finding the words and the judge, they're just that. And it's not even your voice, it's your critical mind putting you down. And that critical mind, it isn't your voice. It's likely from somebody in your distant past that you took on, right? We take it on. Somebody who criticized us as a child, and we internalize their upset with us, being the problem. And here's what it looks like. We believe if we want to express our truth and be understood, we need the right words. Because our parents taught us, good girls, good, say, be nice, say the right thing. But if you're going to express your truth, here's the thing. Your truth is at a soul level. It's soul level. There aren't words there. It's beyond cognitive. And you want to express your soul, right? That's your authenticity. Here's how it looks. So see these glasses of wine? It's like each glass of wine, a drink, is actually a think. All right. Now, the first glass, boy, you get the nice buzz. It feels really good. And nice things come up. And, maybe you'll take that little action. But then the inner critic comes up and you get triggered. And then you take the next drink to calm that. And after a few, you can't think anymore. And then your words slur and you're numbed and you're out of control. And here's what happens. So if we're looking at that, drink is a think, a number of glasses, let's say number of thinks multiplied by, all right, one glass, you've got all your energy and there's no loss of, of your overthinking because it's nice. But look, down at 5, the energy available to you is 5%. You've lost all of your energy, all of your power due to your overthinking. Remember Ophelia, exhausted, the Ophelia approach at the end? It's like slipping down the rabbit hole. And figuring out the right words isn't going to help you express your truth anyway, because your soul is beyond it. Aligning with your truth inside will. And with mistake number 3, I want to walk you through this because it's very, very powerful. And I have so many people who tell me, but I can't really show up. I will die. I will be attacked. I will be hung on the cross. There are a billion versions of this. I'll be judged, either as domineering, self-centered, bitch, full of yourself, choose your favorite insult. Or, we have a lot going on in our minds, and it's what the inner critic loves to terrorize us with. And here's what happens: that you are a person who really cares. You're a change maker. You care about living well and of making a difference and of helping other people and helping other people live well and helping other people live more consciously. But what happens is you do that. This is the dilemma. You care, and then you take that action to help. But instead of them appreciating your help, they criticize you. Here's what it looks like. This is what someone told me just last week. So you invite a colleague to collaborate on it, let's say an innovative new project. Client had this last week. But the person you're inviting in is getting triggered by your being out of the box, by your being the innovator. And they point the finger at you and call you domineering, self-centered bitch. Ouch. Ouch. Now, the ouch part is very likely a rerun of an old childhood story. Does this slide kind of remind you of an old story where you end up playing the role of the ugly duckling, when in fact, you're actually a swan, a glorious swan, and you just need to be visible with other swans who appreciate your out of the boxness, your wonderfulness. But if you're still enmeshed with the quacking and reacting to the quacking of your inner critic, you can't swim with the swans, different places. So it's like, so you may have been criticized for having been too visible, right? We've been there, I've been there, but I want to teach you, instead of shrinking and stopping, I want to teach you how to silence your inner critic, how to go from that point A, let's say, is where you are right now, and point B, which is embodying your truth, no matter what, even when the critic comes up, whether it's inside or outside. All right. Now we've got different ways that we can journey, right? That we can travel. And let's look at 3 options that we could use. All right. And the first one, let's call it a walking stick. This is overthinking. Ophelia loves this one. It's like overthinking, it's Ophelia-ing everything. You're procrastinating, you're trying to figure it out, you're getting, the stick is getting stuck in the mud. All right. Well, you have an option of going in a car or going on a plane too. All right. And some of you may be using the walking stick like Ophelia, but most of you, I'd say, are not there anymore. You've gotten out of the mud. Maybe you're in the car. All right. And here's the car seeing you. So you're going to the place you think you're going. Like you start down the street, but then you're driving in the wrong direction totally. And the trigger comes in, right? And you listen to the trigger. Oh, well, let me turn. And you turn and you turn. And then you've turned. Okay, now I'm on the right road. And you see a shiny object there. I go, yeah. That's better. Anybody know this? That shiny object on the road next to the shiny object syndrome, which is like the fatal mistake, the kiss of death for most change makers and heart-centered folks, right? Now the thing is, because you're so close to the ground, you can't see things at a bird's eye view, at a wider angle lens, and so you're only looking at what's right ahead of you. And so when things come, you're trying to get out of the way, but it takes you in circles and you never get to where you're going, or like a long time later. And then there's the third option, which is the plane. It's so obvious, but we don't think about that, do we? The plane's like birds. I talk about bird's eye view. It's, it's clear. It has clear direction, clear focus, and it's very clear guidance. So it's not every 2 seconds, going off. You get to your destination easily, not aimlessly. Does that make sense? So before we move on to the healing feminine voice approach and how that works and how that can help you, I want to know, do you at this point want to embody your truth no matter what, even when your inner critic attacks? I want to yes or nah. I'll stay in my what. Let me know. That is so great. Yes. Oh, I love seeing that. Yes. Yes. I love your excitement. Me too. Me too. Oh, that's great. Okay. So you ready? Let's move on to the healing feminine voice approach and how you can use this. So it's quite simple, actually. We've been talking over and over about this approach that helps you to embody your truth and to silence your inner critic. And here's how you do it. It's quite simple, really, really simple. There are 4 really easy parts. The first part is to align. Second is to embrace. Third is to expand. And fourth is to express. And I want to go over each one of these specifically with you to go deeper. Okay. So the first part is to align. It's the align framework. And the align framework is the vocal meditation method. And what does that mean? Well, when we don't quiet our inner critic, clients say, I can't, I'm too busy. I don't know what's next. I don't know how. I'm so overwhelmed. And here's what it looks like. We go into overdrive. What does overdrive look like? Overdrive is like overthink, overdo, overact, overwork, overextend, over. Get it? Right? Here's the thing. When you use the align section approach, this first framework of the feminine voice approach, the first thing you're going to do is align with this healing voice system to combat the inner critic. All right. And you're going to get all your thoughts down. We get your monkey mind out on the table, and through hearing vibrations, like look on the right side, all your thoughts down, and it kind of filters down through the vibrations, through the sonic Hebrew vibration. And Hebrew is a spiritually based language. It is the oldest language in mankind. It was developed when we were still operating from the intuitive side of our brain. So what happens is that all of your thoughts like trickle down. And what we do is your constructive thoughts then become clearer, and your critical thoughts evaporate, and you end up in flow. So without the critic dialed down, you can't hear, like we said before. And when the cognitive evaporates, you'll begin to flow into embodying with your truth. And it's not something for you to learn or to understand. It's something that you experience and you connect to what's already there. And here's the thing, I love this Chinese proverb. It says, if we don't change our direction, we'll likely end up where we're headed. Right? And thing is, we can't embody our truths by staying in our head. Staying in our heads gets us the critic. And listen to Charisse Bruner, who I want you to meet. Beautiful, powerful entrepreneur and mom. And by aligning with her truth, she has a child with a very serious medical condition, and she actually they wanted to perform a particular procedure on her daughter, and she just did not feel right about it. But it's the medical establishment, and is her child going to die? And she faced her fears. She spoke up, and it turned the entire trajectory that both her daughter and the medical establishment as well. She helped them. They came up with a whole new solution that they hadn't known before. And it just opened up these new solutions nobody knew about, because she was willing to align with her truth and to stand up. Imagine, what is that worth to you if you could do that? You can. It's so much better, she says. The second part of the framework that I want to explore with you now is the feminine flow process, and Shekhinah, feminine flow process. Shekhinah in Hebrew means embodiment, but feminine embodiment. And when I say feminine, I don't mean woman, because both men and women, it is not a gender thing. We all have feminine and masculine traits inside of us. And this is a feminine flow process. When you start to change, your inner critic is going to come up and it's going to try and stop you. That's its job. All right. Have you ever felt like this? Like sometimes that critic, you feel like you're competing with the devil. But what we're doing in the embracing part is you're embracing your inner judge and you're teaching it a new story. And excuse me, that's a daily practice, and it really does take work. It also helps when you embrace this feminine flow. It's a less is more, slow is fast approach. And in this part of the method, you learn to embrace your inner judge, not to fight it, not to react to it, to embrace it through a feminine flow process that liberates negative mental patterns that you've kept, hidden or imprisoned or pushed away, and that just exhaust us, right? And the feminine vibrations in this process, what they do is they quiet your monkey mind that takes you out of your head, out of your cognitive mind and into your heart. And the rhythmic cycles, ancient rhythmic cycles, they embrace both your body and your spirit. And that balance provides a very safe anchor for you to then be visible and to express your truth without caving in. So now I want you to meet Galina Semenova, who was born in the Ukraine. And she is a beautiful, amazing artist and photographer. And Galina uses this particular part of the approach when she gets distracted and doesn't know what to do. She, of course, she left her country, and she's emigrated to 2 different countries. And she says it's been so powerful for her to embrace and embody that anchor, especially with bureaucracy. I don't know whether you know the process, but it's huge to go through a change, to move from country to country, especially from a country where there's strife. I know it, moving from from the Middle East, and then back to the States, and now to Portugal. And sometimes, as she says, slow is sometimes the fastest route. And by your slowing down, and kudos to you for being here, because you're slowing down enough to be doing something kind and constructive for yourself, it really helps you to connect to your truth. And she is making such a difference in the world because of those difficulties. And imagine yourself not running from the difficulty, but slowing down and giving yourself time to embrace that stuff coming up and letting it go. And then you're free to move on. So then that does move us on to the expand framework, which is what happens when we let go. And that is with a visibility healing method incorporating embodied movement. Why embodied movement? Because body and soul, we are in the world, we express ourselves through an instrument. And to really be visible, in a way that's comfortable, in a way that's confident, it really necessitates leaving those self-constricting thoughts behind. And if you're afraid of looking foolish or sounding foolish, that's going to get you frozen onto Glacier Island. So I like to call it Glacier Island. What's Glacier Island? Let's look. Glacier Island, here's what it looks like. Anyone ever lived there before? How does it stop us from moving ahead, from speaking in public, from creating our own communities or growing our communities, from developing your healing practice, from making a bigger difference in the world, from just speaking our truth? And what embodied movement does is it helps you, because you have that balance between body and soul. It helps you break out to be seen truly as your authentic self. And again, the Hebrew feminine vibration, it allows your body and your voice to align as healing conduits. And using your body as an instrument, what it does is it releases stuck patterns. And the ancient feminine rhythm connects like from the inside to your neural pathways that expand your confidence, your visible self-expression in all areas, professionally, personally. In this sonic Hebrew application, frees your expansion, frees your expression. And imagine yourself freely expressing yourself. Imagine, would you like to sing? Would you like to dance? Freely, or just speak freely, write a poem, whatever. It's not the what, it's you being free allows you to express whatever is in your heart and in a way that feels so, so good. So having embraced your inner judge and expanding, then you're ready to be more visible. And then that allows you to move forward. So how do we do that, though, when we need to feel safe and we want to feel comfortable? We humans don't like change too much. But if you're wanting to embody your truth, no matter what, in all areas of your life, sweetheart, get used to feeling uncomfortable. It's like all those classes I was talking about before, the YouTubes and the blogs and this, most teachers, it's like, don't like to address the uncomfortable. And I think that that's a big disservice, because in order for us to grow, we really do need to move out of our comfort zone. That's like the good news. If you're moving out of your comfort zone, you know that you're expanding, you know that you're moving forward. Like Samantha, meet her. Bazillion times amazing woman, a healing hairstylist. And she She was so afraid of being visible. She wasn't even online. In fact, I don't know how she met Voices of Eden. Must have been through email, because the 5-day challenge that she's referring to in her testimonial here, she did it all through email. And then through that, she overcame the fear and came online, and then signed up for several of our courses. But what's really amazing is that during COVID, she opened up a hairstyling salon in her backyard. You know, we couldn't be inside, and she would uh, sing these Hebrew vibrations, these Hebrew uh, to her clients, and they kept coming back. They asked her for more, and she's now incorporated that into her services with like zero ability of language. Again, you have no need to know any language. It doesn't have to do with that. It has to do with connecting and then expressing yourself authentically, which is what she's doing. Which brings us to the fourth element of the approach, and that's the express framework. And we do that through a tonal ladder method, using your own voice as a healing tool. It's so cool. Showing up for yourself is impossible when you keep putting other people's needs and make them more important than your own. You know, authorities, you know, and how we grew up, you know, we were taught to be good girls. What's a good girl? Well, good girls are seen but not heard. They never get angry. They make others look good. They deprive themselves of service to themselves in service of others' needs. Sound familiar at all? Well, what happens is when you work with the tonal ladder method, you go from good girl to joyful, giddy woman within a matter of a few minutes. Really, just a few minutes. You tap into your full self-expression and be clear about your true value, and knowing without a shadow of a doubt that you have something to offer. The tonal ladder method unleashes that healing property of your voice, of your own natural voice, and you experience your alignment within your chakras, within your energy centers, in your own way. There's no right or wrong way to use this, but it's your voice, the healing properties in your voice. You cannot screw this up. It's just the best. Imagine how free you feel when you experience from the inside out the cleansing and healing power of your own voice. It's just so powerful. But you can't embody your truth as long as you're rejecting your imperfection. So the number one way to show up for yourself and use that healing voice of yours that is so beautiful, that's right there right now, is let that wounded girl inside, or the wounded boy, the wounded one inside, the one within you that so needs to hear your voice, that so needs to know that you love them, even when they disappoint you, when they're grumpy and inconvenient and messy and confused and produce zero, nothing, is inconsistent, is empty-handed, changes their mind. It's just so powerful. I want you now to meet Dorit Levmeir, who did exactly that. English is a second language, and she has a very, very heavy accent, and her biggest fear was presenting in English. But her heart's desire was to teach all around the globe. And that healing voice meditation practice taught her new ways to embrace and heal that shame, the secret shame and put downs. It was very, very strong with her, especially when she took the actions to go out. At first, it was very difficult. She was invited to Japan. She's a wellness coach and a trainer as well. And she had the opportunity to speak at last minute and she didn't because of the shame. But the thing is that when that happened, she really saw it in real time because it was her dream. She was living her dream. And her like turning that opportunity down, then she just kept at it. And today she presents all around the world, live and online. And she still has heavy accent, English, not perfect. She's thriving. People appreciate her services so much. She's training other people. You don't need to be perfect. And if there's one thing that I want you to take away is exactly that. For you to know that you can embody your truth no matter what in all areas of your life, even when your inner critic strikes, even when all this stuff comes up. And the question is, how are you going to use this framework in your own life so that you can show up and fully express your authenticity? As it's so important. You know, you could either choose to the Ophelia, the Ophelia approach, and you can keep trying to figure it out, doing everything on your own, overthinking and, being afraid of the visibility and what are they going to say? Or you can be Emma. You can be fully embodied, right? It is time. It is time for you to embody your truth. And it's time for you to unleash your voice. It's your voice. We need to hear it. And that's what the Unleash Your Feminine Voice Accelerator program. It's a 6-week live coaching program. It was built for this and it's officially open for enrollment. And I'm so excited to be able to provide for you a solution that's proven to work. It's easy, step-by-step, healing feminine voice approach that has worked for thousands and thousands of change makers, and it can work for you too. And so I'd like to give you a bird's eye view of what's inside the course. It's very simple. There are three parts. There's the healing voice approach, there is support, and there is the fast action bonus. Let's first go over the healing feminine voice approach. First of all, you get lifetime access to that, and it guides you through aligning with your inner truth, with silencing your inner critic and your self-criticism. It liberates long-standing negative patterns and creates that safe anchor for you. It helps you break out to be fully seen and heard as you, beautiful you. And you go from that good girl to joyful, amazing, giddy woman in just a few minutes through unleashing the healing properties of your own voice. And it starts to feel so good. Our live coaching sessions of support, they begin on February 14th. Intentionally, I did this on Valentine's Day, and every week for 6 weeks after that. And we have things that are released every week for the 6 weeks. And you bring what you are dealing with. It's for implementation and for support. And we come up with a plan for you to then use the next week. It's very supportive, very fun. They are all recorded and you get lifetime access to that as well. Because what's going to happen is you're going to become more expressive. You're going to be letting go of your inner critic, and things are going to come up, and things are going to shift for the better, for the better. And it's really, really important to have that support. That is why, most don't teach that online. That shit's going to come up. It does, right? But when you have the support, and then you have a way to let it go, then it becomes your best friend, because you're working right when the stuff comes up. So that's why we have the support. And you get custom plan for yourself, and you move forward and you're not stuck. And then the sister tribe community, it is so important, because sometimes we need advice, and there are so many things that you can use a community for, right? And this is where I'm excited for you to find feminine community, to find feminine support, to find new sister friends, so things are less lonely for you when you're actually meeting the stuff that's coming up, because you're amongst a group of people who are facing it the same, conscious women who are committed to embodied, authentic living like you. And then we have the third element, which is the fast action bonus. And I spoke of that before. I'm super excited about this. It's for those who take the action by the end of today, all right, by the end of our session. It's a 90-minute live practice session, and you're going to learn how to stop shrinking when it comes to difficult conversations, things that are on your mind, stating your true needs and desires. What's going to happen is you're going to bring that to the session. You bring it live, I will help you. And if you can't make it live, you can send in your issue and your situation beforehand, and I'll address it on the call, and you'll be receiving my templates and everything that I use myself to overcome that fear of visibility. It comes up every time you expand. It comes up. This is like worth its weight in gold. So every single person here, you can get started now. The doors are officially open, and I've walked you through the entire system. You can stop sabotaging yourself. You need to embody your truth no matter what, and silence your inner critic if you're going to have a fully expressed life. And I'm so excited for you, because I want to hear your voice. The world wants it and needs it. So if you look in the chat right now, I'm putting the link to the sign up. Can you see it? Because we had some tech difficulties. I'd appreciate it if you could let me know. Does everyone see it right now? Great. Gotta love tech. Okay. Everyone sees the link, and could you please click, see that it works? Thank you so much. So that's what you click in order to buy Unleash Your Feminine Voice. And that's what you click to join the 6-week Visibility Accelerator with live group coaching. And I'd like to go through these pricing options so that you understand what's the best route for you to become a student. You have 2 options. One is a monthly payment. So you start today for just $195, and you have access to everything. And if you're going to take the fast action bonus, you'll receive that as well. And it's just $195, and then there are 5 monthly payments after of the same amount. And you receive the 6-week Visibility Accelerator with the live coaching, the Healing Voice training, which you have lifetime access to. The recordings you have lifetime access to. You have the Facebook group for the members. And in the one pay, you receive all of that as well, only you also receive a savings of $173. So you do what's best, the best route for you. that you have those two options, okay? And we're not talking about a course here, signing up for a course. What we're really speaking about is an entire lifestyle change. Really, I mean, what changes for you when you're no longer stopped, when you're speaking your heart, expressing yourself, speaking, singing, embodying your truth, no matter what, and freely expressing what's in your mind and heart, free. Your voice is making a difference, first of all, to yourself, and then you can make the difference in the world that you're meant to be making. I mean, what's that worth to you? It's priceless. And you can start today, $195. Like, come on. Yes. So here's the link to join again, and I'm going to put it in. And please, we've had tech snafu, so I really appreciate your clicking and letting me know that it's working. And I really want to see you raising your hand right now. And if you're like, yes, Eliana, I'm so excited to enroll, let me know. Let me know. All right, put it in. It's so amazing. And I'm so, so excited that you're joining right now. And I'm really so excited for you joining, and so thanking you so much for being here and looking forward to being with you on the other side. Bye.